The kilometre per hour is a unit of speed, expressing the number of kilometers traveled in 1 hour. The unit symbol is kilometre per hour, or, rarely, kmh-1. However, in some English-speaking countries it is also referred to as kph. Especially within the generations that went through metrification or still use imperial units or U.S.customary units. Worldwide, it is the most commonly used unit of speed on road signs and car speedometers. History. Although the meter was formally defined in 1799, the term kilometers per hour did not come into immediate use. The myriameter and myriameter per hour were preferred to kilometers and kilometers per hour. In 1802, the term myriameters per heure had appeared in French literature, and many French maps printed in the first half of the 19th century had scales in leagues and myriameters, but not in kilometers. The Dutch, on the other hand, adopted the kilometre in 1817 but gave it the local name of the mijl. Notation. History. Several representations of kilometers per hour have been used since the term was introduced, and many are still in use today. For example, dictionaries list kilometre per hour, kmph, and km/hour as English abbreviations. The SI representations, classified as symbols, are kilometre per hour, kmh-1, and kmh-1. Kilometers per hour as an abbreviation. The use of abbreviations dates back to antiquity, but abbreviations for kilometers per hour did not appear in the English language until the late 19th century. The kilometre, a unit of length, first appeared in English in 1810, and the compound unit of speed, kilometers per hour, was in use in the US by 1866. Kilometers per hour did not begin to be abbreviated in print until many years later, with several different abbreviations existing near contemporaneously, with no central authority to dictate the rules for abbreviations. Various publishing houses have their own rules that dictate whether to use uppercase letters, lowercase letters, periods, and so on, reflecting both changes in fashion and the image of the publishing house concerned. For example, news organizations such as Reuters and The Economist require kph. In Australian unofficial usage, kilometre per hour is sometimes pronounced and written as clicks. Kilometers per hour is a symbol. The use of symbols to replace words dates back to at least the late medieval era, when Johannes Widmann, writing in German in 1486, used the symbols plus and minus to represent addition and subtraction. In the early 1800s, Berzelius introduced a symbolic notation for the chemical elements derived from the elements' Latin names. Typically, Na was used for the elements sodium and H2O for water. In 1879, 4 years after the signing of the Treaty of the Meter, the CIPM proposed a range of symbols for the various metric units then under the auspices of the CGPM. Among these were the use of the symbol km for kilometre. In 1948, as part of its preparatory work for the SI, the CGPM adopted symbols for many units of measure that did not have universally agreed symbols, one of which was the symbol H for hours. At the same time, the CGPM formalized the rules for combining units. Quotients could be written in one of 3 formats, resulting in kilometre per hour, kmh-1, and kmh-1 being valid representations of kilometers per hour. The SI standards, which were MKS-based rather than CGS-based, were published in 1960 and have since then been adopted by many authorities around the globe, including academic publishers and legal authorities. The SI explicitly states that unit symbols are not abbreviations. abbreviations and are to be written using a very specific set of rules. Dan Ludu Manuals provides the following justification for this distinction. It has already been stated that, according to Maxwell, when we write down the result of a measurement, the numerical value multiplies the unit. Hence, the name of the unit can be replaced by a kind of algebraic symbol, which is shorter and easier to use in formulae. This symbol is not merely an abbreviation but a symbol which, like chemical symbols, must be used in a precise and prescribed manner. SI, and hence the use of kilometre per hour, has now been adopted around the world in many areas related to health and safety and in metrology. It is also the preferred system of measure in academia and in education. Regulatory use. During the early years of the motor car, each country developed its own system of road signs. In 1968, the Vienna Convention on Road Signs and Signals was drawn up under the auspices of the United Nations Economic and Social Council to harmonize road signs across the world. Many countries have since signed the convention and adopted its proposals. Speed limits signs that are either directly authorized by the convention or have been influenced by the convention are shown below. In 1972, the EU published a directive that required member states to abandon CGS-based units in favor of SI. The use of SI implicitly required that member states use kilometre per hour as the shorthand for kilometers per hour on official documents. Another EU directive published in 1975 regulates the layout of speedometers within the European Union, and requires the text kilometre per hour in all languages, even where that is not the natural abbreviation for the local version of kilometers per hour. Examples include Dutch kilometre per hour, Portuguese kilometro por hora, Greek chi iota lambda iota omicron mu epsilon tau rho alpha alpha nu alpha omega rho alpha. In 1988, the United States National Highway Traffic Safety Administration promulgated a rule stating that mph and or kilometre per hour were to be used in speedometer displays. On May 15, 2000, this was clarified to read mph or mph and kilometre per hour. However, the Federal Motor Vehicle Safety Standard No. 101 allows any combination of upper and lowercase letters to represent the units. Conversions. 3.6 kilometers per hour 1 meter per second. The SI unit of speed, meter per second. 1 kilometer per hour approximately equals 0.27778 meters per second. 1 kilometer per hour approximately equals 0.62137 miles per hour approximately equals 0.91134 feet per second. 1 knot 1.852 kilometers per hour 1 mile per hour 1.609344 kilometers per hour.